Let's go down south.
Patiently on the phone is Aaron Studwell. Aaron is the chief forecaster for the NASCAR circuit. Aaron, thank you for waiting patiently while we, blathered on about radars and all that stuff. Thanks for joining us today.
It's a real pleasure to be back on my home market.
Yes, you are a local boy. Tell us where you grew up.
Gambrels, if anybody knows where that is.
Oh, yes.
In Arundel County.
Yes, graduate of Arundel High School, class of '84, and when my friend Dennis gave me the chance, Dennis, Tony's friend also, to be back on the air here, it's a real pleasure.
Well, tell us...
You guys aren't convincing me to move back up north with all this talk of snow and...
Yeah, but it didn't last long, buddy. We had 1.5 feet.
And then it melted away.
It disappeared in 3 days.
I know. I remember what that's like, growing up there, then moved up to Michigan after for undergraduate.
There's a difference.
Where in Michigan?
University of Ann Arbor.
Oh, nice.
So, Aaron, tell us about your job. You are the lead forecaster for the NASCAR circuit. Tell us what that entails.
Really what it's been involving is coordinating with some of the teams. A lot of the teams do use it. Currently, with the situation like we have in Daytona today, cloudy, very isolated showers, keeping an eye on rain near the track.
Now, I'm not a NASCAR fan. Do they have rain delays in NASCAR? Because I got to admit, I've never even watched one.
You just lost half our audience.
It's not like Formula One where they'll race in the rain. They do not have, the tires do not have treads. They do not have windshield wipers. First hint of rain, they'll pull them into pit road and put the covers on them.
No kidding.
Plus all the oil on the track from the tires and the brakes.
Yeah, see, and I didn't even think about that. Those tires don't have treads on them, so they can't grip if there's water on the track. Huh?
So what happens, Aaron? If you're watching the radar and you see something coming in, how much of a head time do you have to give up to let them know on the track to make any decision, or is it actually your decision?
It's not my decision. The best example I had was last year during one of the Richmond races. It was raining in the area. It wasn't raining at the track. I put on the website that there are showers nearby. They're moving towards the track, towards the northwest at 25, or northeast at 25. And within 30 seconds, you hear on the broadcaster, or I listen to Track Pass, one of the crew chiefs, they're reporting rain near the track. If we go to caution, stay out. So if there's a crash, that way the person who is, say, middle of the pack and everybody else who's ahead of them will go in to get tires. He'll know to stay up and stay out on the track, and that's really a crew chief's decision.
So you'll give them the information, and then it's up to them whether or not they want to use it. It's basically the story, right?
Yeah, there's nothing. There's more coordination locally with, say, at Richmond or today at Daytona. They're going to make the decision there. They're going to have their radar there.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody like Ganassi or Hendrick, and it looks like it's starting to rain there already, and glad I just updated the website.
Mm-hmm. Now, is there a lot of...
We're getting inside information here.
We are.
Cool.
I didn't know this. So is there a lot of money involved if there's a caution? I mean, do they...
No, because they're generally... unless it's like Daytona in 2003, where they just ran 150 laps, and they didn't even finish the race. And the thing, they just said, we're done. If they're more than halfway through and they really feel they cannot end the race...
Yeah.
They're just going to say, whoever's leading, you're the winner.
So if it's a total washout and you get into a rain delay and it just pours for the next 5 hours, then you win, basically.
Basically. And then for the broadcast station, it's advertising revenue they've lost, although while they're holding on, it's waiting for the rain to clear. I'm sure they're still broadcasting commercials, but this side better than I do, guys.
Yeah.
Are the advertisers going to come back and say, hey, the ratings were down 40% because nobody's watching a rain delay?
Sometimes they do that. Sometimes they'll come back and they'll be watching a broadcast, whether it's a newscast or something else. If something doesn't go right, they'll come back and they'll want a piece of their pie back, They'll say, hey, guys, the ratings were bad. We got washed out. The rain, stopped it in the middle of the race and, give us some money back. So, yeah, there is money involved, and there is some pressure on the forecasters, I would imagine, for the NASCAR circuit.
Aaron, I got to ask you a question. We were talking about rain here, obviously after our big radar dispute before.
Yeah.
But you caught that, right?
I did. Now, one thing I haven't heard you guys mention is weather dogs.
Weather dogs.
Have they penetrated the Baltimore, Washington area yet?
No, but you know what? Actually, a station I used to work at in Syracuse, WSTM, they have Doppler the cat, and it was a stray cat they used to walk on their outdoor set.
Oh, I think that's cool.
And well, here's the funny story. They had this cat they used to stray on the set because they had the weather wall outside, and they had this contest to name the cat. Doppler won. About a short time after they actually named the cat,
What?
Cat lost its last knife.
No.
They had to go to the shelter.
Funny.
They had to go to the shelter and get another cat.
The Doppler radar fell on him.
Oh, no. That's not... Oh,
it's not funny. It's just sad irony. Anyway, no, the Doppler dogs haven't made it yet.
What is a Doppler dog? I've never even heard of it.
Radar the dog down in the Houston market. Then I have a friend of mine who works for the NBC affiliate in Detroit, and she was like, they were fighting so hard. They're owned by the same corporation.
What is the Doppler dog? I don't get it.
There's a dog that comes on the set. That's another dog.
It's just a gimmick.
That's what it is? There's a dog that comes on the set?
And he'll go over and hit a button.
And the dog hits the button with his paw?
Yes.
It's like stupid. It's like
stupid pet tricks.
Yeah.
It's stupid meteorologist trick.
Oh my God.
Or meteorologists, well, to have to live with it.
Well, you know, people used to always say they could train a monkey to do what we do.
Yeah, well, the monkey could push the buttons.
You're going to put me out of work.
That's pretty funny.
I don't know if I would like that if I was a weather guy at that station, and it's like doing the weather with a puppet or something.
Exactly, they go through cycles. They used to have puppets and the pretty ladies on TV just for ratings back in the 70s.
Yes, they did.
Actually, Tony, do you remember, was it you that came back from that conference, and there was a station back in the Midwest, because they're coming up with these new names like Doppler 9000.
No, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Doppler.
No, that's in the Pacific Northwest. It's a Pacific Northwest. I'm not sure if it's Portland or Seattle. One of the stations got it. They got into this big Doppler war, and they said, we've had enough. We're going to name ours Bigfoot Doppler. And they put the footprint on there,
Bigfoot stamps on the screen.
And it turned into the biggest thing, and it, just the branding alone made them shoot up in the ratings. Bigfoot Doppler. You can't get any bigger than Bigfoot Doppler.
That's funny. Hey, Aaron, we digress here. I was going to ask you about temperature. You say it's a cool, damp day down there on the track. Is there a criteria for temperatures, getting above 90 and they have to change their tires, or how that would actually affect, conditions down there?
It's the same. Goodyear brings the same tires every week.
Mm-hmm.
What they'll do is they may start at a lower tire pressure, because once the tires heat up, because they'll have the ambient heat on the track and running on the track, they'll heat up to the temperature they want to start them at. So they'll start them at a lower pressure. The engines will also struggle more. But the tires will also lose grip. So it's an interesting balance.
Yeah,
and then it gets hot. It gets so hot in those cockpits for those drivers.
Well, I'll bet it does. But is there a threshold where it's too hot? I mean, what if it's 100 degrees in Florida and you have a dew point of 80, or something like that? Can they?
Not that I've ever been aware of. And I've been to hot races before, and I've seen hot races, and I've never seen them say it's too hot to run, because what they'll do in Florida in the July race, it'll be a night race.
Oh, they'll do it at night. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
And then I'm going to Vegas in 3 weeks, and even though Vegas in March isn't that hot, they're going to have it so it finishes under the lights.
All right. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, they're not dumb enough to run a race during the middle of the day in Vegas in the middle of the afternoon when it's 127 degrees, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah, for the engine.
It's like a baseball schedule down here in Texas where the Rangers play outside. All night games during the summer.
And do these guys practice driving in inclement weather? Do they try to do that at all? Will they wet down a track and practice driving around on a wet track just in case? Or do they not even try to mess with their cars that way?
They'll go. I've seen where they've gone to practice, and the way the practice rules are set up now, they can go to a non-NASCAR or non-NEXTEL Cup race track. So they went to Kentucky 2-3 weeks ago. And I know they're looking at it, but I think once they commit the resources to say they're going to go, they're going to go. It snowed.
It snowed?
They could do nothing.
Well, yeah, there's no weight in those cars, and the tires are bald.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to put sandbags in the back? Yeah, you can't do that.
Aaron, how'd you
even load the trailers? They just sat there, watched it snow, and then packed it up and went back to Charlotte.
Yeah.
Look, I got to ask you, man. We grew up watching, weather on TV, and obviously being excited about, when big storms come through. But picking our career path, I think, was pretty easy because it's what we saw. I think that pretty much got us into it. How did you, as a forecaster, get involved with NASCAR?
My undergraduate degree is in aerospace.
Okay.
And I wound up going to work for General Motors in Michigan. And then I was a disheartened 26-year-old and made probably a rash decision. But I wound up going to Texas A&M and getting a master's in meteorology.
Okay.
Good school.
Eventually I wound up working, and these guys, they're forecasters on an energy trading floor.
Okay, yeah.
And I almost took a job at Constellation down in the Inner Harbor.
Oh, no kidding. Constellation Energy, yeah.
And So that lasted about 5 years. Then with the Enron implosion, then it came out that what my company was doing, I'm sitting here watching a race, that's why I said car, what my company was doing, and we imploded and they sold us off. And I was out of work, and I was out of work for a while. And I knew I was going to be laid off. And I was a race fan, so I started working the teams and thinking about and I saw the Daytona 500 canceled by rain, and their drivers are saying, we need somebody to look at this. We need somebody to coordinate this and know what's going on.
There you go.
And then the NBC broadcast for the Vegas race was, it's not raining, it's perfectly clear, it's just fine, but you look at the radar, and it's not. And then practice is delayed 30 minutes later because of rain. Well, you just said it's perfectly clear. So you have untrained people looking at radars, and it just wasn't working out for them.
And here you come.
Are you saying you're the first one?
What's that?
Are you saying you're the first one?
Yeah, there was one other person doing it, but all he was doing was pulling weather service feeds and repackaging them.
Oh, wow, so you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
So you actually have your own private company, and you contract out to these racing teams.
Right.
I see. All right.
Do you have stickers all over your computer? You have logo stickers all over your computer.
No. I'm actually trying to. I don't even have a favorite driver anymore.
You don't?
Yeah, Rusty Wallace retired. No one else exists anymore.
My favorite driver retired, was forced into retirement.
And who was that?
Ward Burton.
Ward Burton, okay.
And here, I'm trying to get employed by these teams, so I'm not trying to say, well, Kevin Harvick's my favorite driver, and I'm trying to go down the street and work at Roush.
Uh-huh.
And I try to maintain that real neutral bias.
Now, how many, we're going to take a short break here, but I ask you one more question. How many people are on a quote-unquote team for a car? There's an owner, there's a driver, who else is involved?
It depends on the team. I'm working with a team, and I want to go out and work with them in Las Vegas. They have about a dozen.
A dozen people, really?
Yeah, but you could look at a team like Roush where there are 4 cars, and they have 400-plus employees.
Wow. Well, that's big time, of course, right?
Right. That's engineers, that's support staff, that's fabricators, paint shop guys.
All right.
Bottom soups and dots.
Aaron, I want to thank you for calling in. Local boy, made it big, from Gambrill down in Anne Arundel County. Aaron Studwell, NASCAR forecaster. I'm going to let you get back to the race because I know this is Super Bowl Sunday for you guys. Thank you so much for calling in, Aaron. Take it easy, man.
Thanks. I appreciate your time.
All right.
Thanks,
bye-bye.
Aaron.
Yeah, we have...